This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody. Well, I'm always hunting on the internet for things that I may have lost in my travels from Connecticut to Florida. So I always try to get the stuff back into my collection. We had lost a ton of stuff, and one of the things that we lost that I ran into was a very old game that was a little different, you know, but when you look at it and we talk about it, you'll see that some of the same mechanics from back then, back in 1992, still apply today to a lot of our dungeon crawls and stuff like that. And we're going to be taking a look at a game called Legions of Steel. And it bragged about 19 miniatures over 1 pound of metal. And yeah, there's a pound of metal in there. That's for sure. The old days when miniatures were just metal. So I happened to run into this, so I'm going to get this painted up and then we're going to do a live playthrough. But I wanted to make sure that you guys see how it works. So when you see it go live, you'll say, hey, maybe I want to see this, or maybe I'll skip this one. So, without further ado, let's go down to the table and check out Legions of Steel. Now, I'm not going to go over all the rules or even show you everything that it comes with, but there are a lot of neat little figures here. I mean, these look like Terminators, all right? In 1993, come on, man. Come on. But you get about 9 of these, and then you have this Mark I Fiend, okay, with the pitchfork. So he's really this nasty creature. They're a lot cooler once you paint them up. You get doors, you get all kinds of different things, but you get a ton of these tiles, and I do mean a ton. All right, and you can see that. So you can make this pretty big. The commandos are pretty basic. You know, nothing outstanding. There's a couple of them with some special weapons. The rule book is actually very good, believe it or not, for this type of time. The one thing that you would like to see is some player aids, and they have one in the back of the scenario book, but it really doesn't tell you a lot of things. Like, it doesn't give you all the stats for each guys. Now these guys can only move 4, but the Mark I could move 5. Moving diagonally will cost you 2. But it's a weird thing how it works, and I'm just going to show you here that if I want to move over here, you have 4 movement points, okay? So you're going to be able to move. This is going to cost you 2, but the next one costs you 1. And then if you want to move diagonally again, it will cost you another 2. Okay? Moving back costs you 3. If you want to, do a complete 360. But just moving 1 space costs you 1. So movement is not too confusing, except if you're moving diagonally, if you want to continuously move. Line of sight is big. What you're going to do, and I'm going to show this to you so you can see that they did back in the day actually have some sort of player aid. Depending on the weapon that you were used and the distance that you have, that's what your hit number that you're going to need. So you're going to have to, if you have a normal fire, there's covering fire where you're going to have minuses to all these numbers and stuff like that. So there's different things that can come in variables. Grenades, depending on the distance, is what you're going to need. Like over here, it's going to show you that for 6 spaces away, well, you're going to need a 6 to hit that grenade. Leadership becomes a thing. You have a sergeant and then a corporal, and each one of them, the sergeant has 2 leadership, and then the corporal has 1. So that's 3 leadership that you're going to be able to assign to one of your guys. For instance, here, if you want him to get a modifier on a roll, say he's rolling, I believe that would be 3 to hit that particular guy. Well, you can make it a 2, which is almost guaranteed if you use one of your leadership points for him. And of course we got a 6. We didn't need to waste that leadership. Initiative is a big thing. because you can use your initiative points against because you're going to roll to see who goes first, and you could take, instead of assigning your initiative points, you can add them to your roll. So that would be, if our sergeant didn't use any points, that would be an 8, and if they didn't use any points, they would roll and it would be a tie. Well, it's a good thing that kind of happened that way, because in case of a tie, you roll, both sides roll an additional die with no leadership modifiers, so that doesn't change anything. It's a neat little game. It's a fun little crawl through, and it's science fiction, and it's very contained. I don't think it did great in the 90s, but I'll be honest with you, I love it. I used to play it a lot with my son when he was very, very young, and a friend I actually had in Connecticut. It's going to cost you a movement point to move. You get to move and fire, of course. And of course they get to move and fire. You move one figure at a time, you do all its actions, and then you move to the next figure. So initiative is very, very important. The tiles are fantastic. You can do a lot of things with the tiles, because the tiles cover quite a bit of area, and you can play a pretty big game. You get 2 squads worth of guys, as you can see here. Let me make sure I get them all. There we go. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe yep, 7 guys. So, and you're gonna, oh no, it's 1 squad, because you're gonna have a sergeant and a corporal. Now, if you lose your sergeant and corporal, well, guess what? That's not gonna be very good for you, because you're gonna lose all your leadership roles. And leadership points do roll over. If you don't use them on a prior turn, you can use them on the next turn, especially if you want initiative and you want to take out the massive 1 pound of guys that come with this game. I love old metal figures. I love painting old metal figures. They're always a lot of fun, and I can't wait to show you this once it's all done and I've got it all jacked up. I think we'll have a lot of fun with it, and it's a neat little game. So let's go up top. I give you the gist of everything, and when we come back next time with this game, we'll actually be playing it, and it may not be that bad, folks. All right, let's go up top and get my final thoughts. Now, as you saw with this old classic, the tiles have a lot of that, the very old, oh, what do I want to say? Space Hulk, 1989. Of course, it was five years later. Some of the similarities and things like that, you know, they didn't have, you know, player aids like they do now and things like that, or cards of the different miniatures. You had to look in the rule book and find out how much they moved and this, that, and the other. The rules are fairly simple, as you saw. Just a really neat old school type of game. The thing I really like is the old miniatures. I've always been partial to them, and painting them again is going to be a lot of fun. I think I can do it in an hour, to be honest with you, because it's just silver, and you know, I don't want them to look like Terminators, but you know, we're going to play around with it and have some fun for sure. This is a neat little game. I love the scenarios that it comes with. Some of them are very unique. The villain was kind of unique with the electronic pitchfork. If you got into a hand-to-hand battle with them, basically you were done. The molds, they're all right. This for me is more of a throwback, and it's fun in the fact that it brings back a lot of great memories. It's a decent game at best. So we'll try it out, check it out. There's plenty of them out there. So maybe this might be something that's a little unique during these unique times, that you can go out and get pretty fairly cheap and have some fun with. So until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.